Hey everyone, in this week's Legal Latte, I want to share with you a few tips for tracking receipts and mileage, and these are things I actually do myself, so I hope you find them helpful. This is a frequent question that we get a lot from clients is, oh my gosh, I have all these receipts, how am I supposed to keep track of these? What really is the best way to handle this? So and then mileage is the second one, so I'm going to start with receipts. So technically, we recommend that you save receipts for everything, right? I know a lot of the credit cards have more detail within those systems now, but at the end of the day, having the receipt is really going to protect you the most in the case of an IRS audit. So you can make that system as complex or as simple as you would like. And part of this depends on the volume as well, right? And I am generally not talking about like client case expenses. That's a whole different ball of wax. These are general things like going out to taking colleagues out to coffee or stopping at Office Depot or whatever those things are, kind of those random operating expenses that we have as business owners and a lot of our admins have as well. So I know we all use QuickBooks. QuickBooks does have the ability to add receipts into all of those transactions. I don't disagree with this method. I think it's a bit labor intensive, and I am always concerned with how do we get those out of there, right? So at the end of the day, you're probably not going to go pull up these receipts, but if you do get audited by the IRS, you're going to need to. And having to go back in and pull all those receipts, I think would be very, very time consuming and difficult. So usually what I recommend for most of our clients, because we don't have thousands and thousands generally of these types of transactions, is that I just have a folder for the year on my SharePoint, and we have a folder for each month. And we just save the receipts with the vendor name, the dollar amount, and the date in there. And the way I do this is so I just got back from a trip last week, I had coffees, I had dinners, I had all these things. I just snap a picture of it with my phone, send it in Teams to my assistant, and she saves all of those. So it really takes me like 2 seconds to take care of these receipts. And she saves them all. I don't even have to think about it again once I take that picture and send it off to her. So if you don't have a VA, you need to get one. But that's a quick, easy way to do that. So they're by month. If we ever do get audited, we're going to go back into the general ledger anyway. That's all organized by month, and we should be able to just select and, pull all those PDFs out or whatever we need to. So that is my recommendation generally, is to have one person kind of organize the receipts, and it's super easy to send them in Teams or Slack, whatever you're using on your phone. As far as the mileage goes, if you do not have a significant amount of business mileage, which some of us do, some of us don't, if you do, I really recommend getting an app to track it. But if you don't have a lot of mileage, which I don't, what the system we kind of came up with that works really well is when I have a meeting that I need to go to, that I'm driving to, I always block travel time anyway in my calendar. So the bookkeeper that does our accounting, she goes in and looks at my calendar once a month, looks at those travel dates. She actually puts in the addresses, figures out the mileage, and then records it for me and tracks it. So if you don't have tons and tons of business mileage, that's an easy way to just have your assistant go into your calendar. They can go into whatever MapQuest, I think there's still MapQuest, and figure out the mileage, and then just keep track of that for you. So again, with all these systems, we can make them as complex or as simple as possible. I usually like to try it simple, and if it's not working, then we can always ramp it up to something more sophisticated. So I hope that helps. We're getting ready for year end again, so let's get all of our receipts in order. Let's get good systems in place so we feel great about going into next year and we have the documentation that we need in the case that we did get audited by the IRS. I hope everyone has a great week. Thanks for watching.